Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. And on the back of Rassie Erasmus's team announcement yesterday, we're going to be looking at the winners and losers post the 23 that was named. We are now into the third week of the Nations Championship. And as a result, we've kind of got a lot of information with regards to the combinations we're starting to look at, some of the players and which positions they've been playing at, for example, where they've gotten minutes, where they haven't gotten minutes. And there's definitely players who, and especially when we do this next week, when we kind of look at the three games of a whole, have elevated their profile within the box squad. At the same time, there's probably also players who maybe haven't, and maybe players who are sort of struggling a little bit. I don't think have managed to be able to make as big of an impact that they would have liked, and I don't think they've done their World Cup chances a load of good. And today we're going to be looking at basically five players, three winners, two losers, and kind of just why exactly it's a big opportunity for them versus why this week and not being involved is a big loss for them or a big impact. And sometimes it's within the control of the player, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles. But just in terms of where we are, this is the last game ahead of the greatest rivalry tour, bar the Argentina game, which I think will be quite an interesting side, given the fact that I'm hoping we'll see a lot of the Boks that are involved in the domestic, franchises in South Africa going back to their franchises. We want to be able to see the Stormers players being part of the Stormers when they take on the All Blacks, similar to the Bulls, the Sharks, the Lions, and give them the best opportunity to try and get those results. And it also means that the Springboks can kind of leverage the franchises to give some of these players game time. So somebody like Cameron Hanekom, he only got one game. Well, if he goes and plays for the Bulls, for example, he can get game time there, even if he doesn't play against an Argentina and the likes of that. So before we get into it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Our first winner is the biggest winner of this week, and that is this man over here. Vusi Moyo will get an opportunity to start in the number 10 jersey. And what a chance for the young flower half, who's been incredible for the under-20s, was pulled into the squad, hasn't played a lot of rugby at this sort of at senior level, let alone a test level. And this is what's been quite interesting about the Boks management, is that they've been happy to give players who've barely played at a senior level the go at test match level. And, this provides a bit of a point of difference, because, there won't be a lot of information about Vusi Moyo for Argentina to go and look at in comparison to a Mani Ibaka or Holliday Pollard. Yes, there's under 20 games. You can go look at school games and the likes of that. But he's never played in the Boks or the system, for example. He's never really hasn't played that much in the Shark system. So they kind of will know a little bit of what to expect, but not entirely. And he's going to have an opportunity to sort of stake a claim and show whether he is ready for this kind of level. And the good news is it's a bit of a no-loss situation, because if he plays really well, we sit there going, well, there we go. We've got another option. We've got a genuine fourth option at test match level. And that's not even bringing in the likes of a Jordan Hendrickse, for example. And if he doesn't quite sort of get there, then the response is, okay, cool. So he's got the talent, but he's maybe not ready for this level. And he'll go back to the Sharks, and he can go play for a season or two and come back, and he'll still be 22 years old, So it's a bit of an all-win, no-loss situation, I think, for him. And I really do hope that he rises to the occasion and has a comfortable game. We've given him the best chance of doing that, because we've got a very experienced campaigners in and around him. Our first loser is Canan Moodie. Injuries and sickness, meaning that he has barely played. Was supposed to start last weekend. I think, they were hoping to probably give him more minutes this weekend. And we've seen Jason Creel now play 3 games in a row, or about to play 3 games in a row at outside centre, because we haven't really been able to rotate due to the injuries to Canan Moodie as well as Ethan Hooker. So I think Kane has missed another opportunity here to get some game time back in that Bok midfield, to sort of stake a claim for the greatest rivalry tour and say that he is, the number 2 option at 13, which I think he is at the moment. But and it's not his fault. No one's sitting there saying that he's done something wrong, but it's a big opportunity missed to get some game time in the green and gold, to keep building that profile, to keep working with Damien De Lindy at inside, or an Andre Estes in the inside centre, or Damien Willemse and the likes of that. So it's frustrating, because we know the talent he is. He's still so incredibly young, but haven't been able to give him as many games as we'd like to in the last year, and especially now due to the injuries and due to the sickness that ruled him out last week. A big winner for this weekend. This man, Herschel Yankee's back in the mix, and a huge chance for him to get his Springbok career going again. He's a World Cup winner. He came through right to just before the World Cup, and basically it was a case of everything he touched turned to goal. He was scoring tries for fun. He was coming off the bench to tremendous impact. and he was an incredible part of our World Cup success. Unfortunately, after that, form kind of plummeted a little bit. I think he was, a lot of public scrutiny, and I don't think he dealt with it particularly well, which I think was fair, because I think a lot of the scrutiny and a lot of the criticism he got wasn't always justified. I think, when you play like a Herschel Yankees, for example, who's a quick scrum off, who likes to take chances, you open your up to a higher error rate, and people don't always respond to that. It's the same thing with Moni Liebach, for example. He plays a more risky game than a Andre Pollard, and that creates more opportunities for mistakes and opens you up for that kind of criticism. He left and has gone to France, which I said at the time was a really good move. And I said that if he was ever going to play for the Boks, I think he needed to get out of the South African public's eye and go play as rugby and let rugby be the main thing again. He's done exactly that. And he's been called back in at a time where we are really, really prioritizing fast, quick scrum offs. And he will once again be deployed off the bench, which was basically his party trick back when he was playing for the Boks up to 2023 when it was his last test. So he's coming from exile, essentially, and he gets a big opportunity this week to show everybody how much he's improved in France, to show everybody the kind of form he's in. There's already people saying, oh, I'm not so sure about this selection, and he's got a massive opportunity to prove some doubters wrong and to remind the Bok coaches of exactly what it is he has to offer. This man over here, a bit of another loser, inverted commas, I think, because I think we were really hoping to see more of him during the last 3 weeks. And I don't think he basically, smashed down the lights in the first test. I think he was solid. I thought he was quite good. But it wasn't the kind of impact we've seen him have at the Bulls, especially at breakdown, for example. He's such a well-rounded player. He's an intelligent player. And I don't think he managed to really show his full range of ability in that first test. He was drafted quite late into the starting lineup. I think, maybe he would have been set to have started at the second test if injuries weren't a thing, or potentially play this weekend. But he hasn't been able to get the kind of game time I think he would have hoped for, and I think we were hoping to see if he's ready for this level and to see if he can take the step up and put pressure on a Jasper Wiese and the likes of that. So I think he'll still be in the mix, and I think he still has long-term future with the Boks, but he hasn't bang that door down and be able to say, right, I'm here. It is my time. Unlike this man over here, our final winner, which is Paul de Villiers, because he has done the complete opposite. He's been given a chance and he's taken it. And, now he's going to get his third start in a row. He was really good last week. Everyone's talking about him. And that's exactly what you want when you start your Springbok career. You want to be able to have a couple of matches where everyone is raving about, he looks so comfortable, he's been so good, big impactful player. And he's, all of a sudden, I think, secured his place in the squad. And I think now he's made a genuine case for him to go to the World Cup, which I think other players haven't. So he's been a really, really good and positive story coming out of the last few weeks. Whereas the other ones, I don't think have quite been able to kick on and be able to make that kind of statement like he has. So those are my, 3 winners, 2 losers, 5 players who are, have either taking a big step forward this week or maybe a slight step back. What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well.